Yo, what up everyone? Crytek has released a blog post about some of the most important changes coming to the game with update 2.3. Not everyone is keeping up with Crytek's social media and blog posts, so I wanted to give you guys a quick summary of the most important changes with the next update. Crytek said themselves a lot of rewords are to be expected when it comes to in-game mechanics, and they're focusing on performance and trying to regain player trust. Overall, we should consider the next few updates more into a Operation Hell's direction than them focusing on new content. That doesn't mean there won't be new content coming, but the main priority will be fixing the game, and I think I speak for all of us, they are finally listening. Here are my personal and most important changes coming with 2.3. Melee tools will cause more damage to targets, and there are more in-world melee weapons spawned near boss target layers again. This change is huge since it will make it easier to kill bosses again. That is a big step in the right direction, since I do think that the melee tool nerfs from roughly a year ago contributed a lot to people being less motivated to play the objective due to bosses being a pain in the ass to kill. Not due to difficulty, but simply due to a lack of options to kill them in a reasonable amount of time. The next change is reverted bolts are now scarce ammo and can only be looted from dead hunters and come with less ammunition. We plan on revising them further in the future. This is another big change. I think most of us can agree that fighting a team with reverted bolts is one of the most unfun fights you can have in Hunt Showdown, so I'm glad they are finally getting turned into scarce ammo. Some people are saying the way they worded this means that you will be able to loot reverted bolts when looting hunters, but in my opinion this change simply means that reverted bolts will no longer be available unless somebody brings in reverted bolts into the match that are still left in the inventory, and reverted bolts can no longer be purchased until they get reworked in the future. Basically, every time somebody loses a reverted bolts in a match and nobody does extract with them, that is one set of reverted bolts taken out of the Hunt Showdown game economy permanently. Another great change in my opinion, not everybody will agree with this, is this one. It will now require 3 bear traps to kill an enemy hunter, allowing players to avoid using a single tool slot, choice which allows for an easy insta-kill trap setup on their own without using explosive barrels, extra traps found in the world, or the frontiersman trait. This is the next big quality of life improvement, which might not appeal to everybody since it is a nerf to bear traps, but I honestly am glad that we are going back to the old Concertina poison death trap mines. With this change, since people hiding bear traps inside textures has gotten quite common and is a more than frustrating thing to die to. On top of that, committing to death traps is actually 2 slots now, which means they will overall be less common, which I personally do not mind, and it's not like it's impossible to build a death trap. Another good change that people complained about a lot, the Lightfoot trait no longer allows for silent crouching for solo hunters. This is another great change. I as a solo player was not a fan of this. Hunt is a game about reading audio cues and nobody should ever be able to have fully silent footsteps. This mechanic was way too frustrating to die to, and instead of giving solo players a gimmicky mechanic so they can occasionally get a win, they should rather find a better solution to the one-time use Necromancer trait and either revert the change completely or give us more opportunities to regain Necromancer by triggering a restoration effect or killing enemy hunters. For example, kill 3 enemy hunters after you use Necromancer and you can regain a charge of Necromancer or gain a second one maybe. This should work for teams and solos equally. The next change might not sound that special to everybody, but weekly challenges are now coming in random weekly sets to reduce the chance of individual weapons dominating entire weeks. Like I said already, this change might not seem that big and is overlooked by many, but I do believe everyone remembers when during the past events we had weeks when everyone played a sniper rifle, a silenced weapon or a crack with fire ammo, because the weekly challenges were simply asking for it. And the lobbies felt quite repetitive and boring at times, due to everyone running basically the exact same loadout. This change will fix that. A change I'm personally really looking forward to, the Fast Fingers trait has been added to the Martini Henry and Maynard sniper families. This is another big change. Finally all single shot rifles can benefit from fast fingers, which will be huge for the Martini. Since the introduction of fast fingers, the Martini hasn't been played much, or at least I barely see it in my lobbies anymore. Yes, we do have a Martini arm inside, aka the fridge cannon, but I don't think anyone actually plays that rifle anyways, and even if you do, then all power to you, since those are 6 trade points you don't have to spend to upgrade your Martini. I can't wait to see how fast the reloads actually are. This is a change I'm really looking forward to. The last 2 changes that are definitely worth mentioning are Concertina wire should no longer damage players through walls and ceilings, and players can now disarm and pick up dark dynamite satchels, storing them back in the inventory, if they have a free slot. I do believe the Concertina change would be an amazing quality of life increase. We have to see how it actually plays out, and while the Satchel change does not seem that interesting at first, I want to say this mechanic has a lot of hidden potential. Maybe this does open the door to being able to pick up your traps again in the future, or even throwables that have landed in water or have been dauntless. Since, in my opinion, it's not that much of a step to picking up a dark dynamite satchel and picking up a frag bomb that just dropped on the floor or landed in water as an example. Another change that was not mentioned in this blog post is that Crytek is currently experimenting with a ping-based matchmaking. They haven't told us what that actually means, but I think especially for us European players that have to deal with high ping players on European servers basically on a daily basis, I think this is a change that everybody is looking forward to. They said they're gonna update us soon with another blog post. I will make a video on it and tell you guys what I think about it, but seeing them try to separate high ping players from low ping players in some kind of form is a huge quality of life increase, and at least for me as a player, it is game changing. But this was it for the video. There's also an UI blog post, which I will be covering in a different video. I will post a 2.3 blog post in the comments so you can see all the changes in detail by yourself. Let me know what your favorite change is so far. My favorite is them wanting to revert gameplay mechanics in general, because I do believe Crytek has done some blunders in that direction over the past 12 or more months, and them admitting that is very promising, and I'm looking forward to what changes they have in store for us. But thank you for watching, and I will talk to you guys next time.